today I want to talk about unhauling books and why this is so challenging for me. I originally wanted to do the Unhaul book challenge that has been circulating BookTube. I'm not sure who the original creator is, but I got inspired to create a similar video because of Books and Lala's video. So I will put her link down below, and if I can find the original, I think she's the original creator. But if she's not, I will put down the person that originally created it as well in the description. So I'm gonna start off by listing the 10 prompts that Kayla gives in her video. So number 1 is unhaul a book you rated low. Number 2 is unhaul a book you changed your mind about. Number 3 is unhaul a series you won't be completing. Number 4 is unhaul a book you DNF. Number 5 is unhaul a book you have multiple copies of. Number 6 is unhaul a book you'll never actually get to. Number 7 is unhaul a book you bought because of the hype. Number 8 is unhaul a book you bought because of the cover. Number 9 is unhaul a book you don't know anything about. And number 10 is unhaul a book you did not buy. So those are the prompts. I thought that doing this video would be great because I haven't been doing too well on my TBR challenge, where I'm supposed to be decreasing the number of books on my TBR by reading them or getting rid of them if I don't read a book every month. But if you want to know more about that challenge, I will have the whole playlist down below so you can check out the first video I created as well as my updates so far this year. But I did have to get rid of 2 books for March and April, but I just feel like I wanted to unhaul a couple more books to decrease my TBR and to make room for the books I got for my birthday. I bought a lot of books for my birthday for myself. I actually did an entire book haul about that, so if you want to check that out, I'll put it in the description as well. It was really fun. I'm really excited about all the books that I bought, so I thought I just wanted to do an unhaul to get rid of them. So let me tell you about the books that I'm going to get rid of. So the first book I'm unhauling is My Mad Fat Diary by Earl Ray, and I'm getting rid of this book because of the prompt, unhaul a book you rated low. So I originally picked up this book because I fell in love with the UK TV series that they created based off of it. I loved all the topics that that series discusses about depression and body image, and I really enjoyed the series, so I wanted to read the source material. And unfortunately, this book did not really interest me as much as the series did. This is nonfiction, so it is a real account of her journal entries, and I think since it wasn't curated in a particular way, it just kind of felt a little meandering and a little bit just like a teenager complaining about her life. So I didn't enjoy it as much as the TV series, but I had originally decided that I was going to keep this book because I had so much connection to the TV series, and I can't buy the series because they only are producing it in the UK, and the UK DVDs, they're not compatible with US systems, so I just kept the book for that sentimental value. But I'm thinking about just getting rid of it and unhauling it because it wasn't as good as the series in my opinion. I'm also unhauling Labyrinth Lost by Zoraia Gordova. This I picked up because I liked the idea of seeing a Latina-inspired witch fantasy book. So this book follows a girl who is becoming a bruja, which is like a form of a witch, but she has to perform this ritual before she can gain her magical powers, but she does not want to gain her magical powers, so she performs another ritual to take away her magic, but that goes completely wrong, and it takes all of her family to the underworld, and she has to go and rescue them. So the premise sounded really interesting, but I don't think I really enjoyed the execution of this book as much. I don't think I'm going to plan on finishing the series, but the biggest reason why I'm kind of unhauling this book is because I really prefer the newer copies of this book better. I will put the image over here so you can compare, but I think they're just a lot prettier in my opinion than this one. So if I do ever want to continue on with the series, since I've unhauled this one, I can pick up the books in the new editions and pick up the first one in that new pretty edition. So that's another reason why I decided to unhaul this one. And the next book that I'm unhauling is Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, and I'm unhauling this one for the prompt, unhaul a book you have multiple copies of. I purchased this copy and then I saw the anniversary illustrated edition and really fell in love with that edition, and that's the one I ended up reading. And I think that I probably wouldn't have enjoyed the story as much if that didn't have illustrations in it. So I'm getting rid of this copy because I really didn't enjoy the story as much as I thought I was going to. And if I ever do want to reread it, I will just read the illustrated edition because that's the one I fell in love with. So I'm just going to give this one to another home. And finally, I have another book that I decided to get rid of, but it doesn't really fit into any of the prompts, and that is Sold by Patricia McCormick. This is a story that's told through poems, and it's about a young girl who gets sold into sex trafficking. And honestly, I did not really enjoy the format of this book. I think it took away from the seriousness of the topic, and at the end, I didn't really like how the white savior kind of saves her at the end of this book. So for those reasons, I really didn't want to keep this book, but I kind of felt almost guilty about unhauling it because the topic is so important, and it's also a topic that I feel really strongly about. But I have since read a book called Girls Burn Brighter that I enjoy a lot more, that covers very similar topics to this book. So I plan on purchasing a copy of that book, and now I feel like I can unhaul this one because I just think that Girls Born Brighter does a much better job of capturing what it's like to be a female in the sex trafficking industry, and I think the story was much more realistic. So for that reason, I'm just unhauling this one. So if you notice, there's kind of a trend to the books I'm unhauling. All of them are books that I have already read. And I realized that unhauling books that are on my physical TBR are really challenging for me. And I feel like I just wanted to finish this video by talking about why that is, and just this video kind of turned into a discussion as I was planning how to film it. So there's really two reasons why I think unhauling my TBR books are hard for me. The first one is that I paid good money for those books. Sorry, my camera died, but I'm back. So I was talking about some of the reasons why I have a struggle unhauling books on my TBR. So the first reason is that I paid good money for those books, and I don't like the idea of unhauling a book and then wanting to read it and having to buy it again or check it out from the library, and when I've already had that book in my collection before. So there are like very few books on my TBR that I don't think I will ever get to, and because of that, I want to keep them because I don't know what my mood is going to be like in the next week, in the next month, or where I'm going to be at in the next year. And I don't want to get rid of a book that I will potentially be inspired to read later on in the future, especially if I've bought the book and I don't want to have to re-buy it again because I decided to unhaul it because I was thinking about the book in that exact moment when I was unhauling it, and not thinking about whether or not this book will be something I want to read in the future. And the second reason is I have a fear of missing out. I mean, realistically, there are millions of books being published, and I cannot read all of them. I probably can't even read all the books that I want to read, but getting rid of a book that is in my collection scares me, because what if I'm getting rid of a book that if I actually gave the chance to read, I would have really enjoyed? And going back to my first point, I don't think that if I unhaul a book, the likelihood of me going back and buying it again is very slim. So these are books, if I unhaul the book on my TBR, it's likely that I will never actually read it. So it's just like I could be missing out on a great plot, a great character that I really connect with, or a new author that I want to check out more books by, but I'm missing that out because I'm unhauling a book based on my feelings at that moment. And that doesn't really sit with me well. And if I was being completely honest with myself and really following the prompts on this, I would get rid of some books that I don't think I could get rid of at the moment. So I decided to show you those books that if I followed the prompts and was really brutally honest with myself, these were the books that I would have unhauled if I followed all the prompts. But I just can't unhaul these books, and I'm going to try to end up reading these in the next couple of months to see if I really was missing out or if I really should have just went with my gut instinct and just unhaul them. So let's start. I will only be showing you the prompts that I wasn't able to complete. So these are books that if I was being completely honest with myself, that I would probably unhaul if I did not care that I had purchased them, if I didn't have these other feelings about them. So yeah, the first one is unhaul a book that you changed your mind about. And for this one, I honestly would have to say Three Princes by Ramona Wheeler. And I got this on Book Outlet, and the premise at the time sounded really, really interesting. I believe it is about three princes that are trying to fight for the throne. And I think it takes place in like this fantastical Egyptian type setting, which sounds really, really cool. But honestly, I just don't know if I will ever get to it. I don't know if it's really something I want to invest my time in. And also, the reviews on Goodreads are not very good, so that has also deterred me from wanting to read it. But the fact that I just really, really like the premise has made me keep this book, and that's why I don't think I could give it away, because it will be a point in my life where I'll be like, yeah, I want to finally check out this book despite what it says on Goodreads, and I won't have it if I unhaul it. So this might be a book I'll have to read soon and see whether or not it was worth keeping. The next one is to unhaul a book you DNF'd, and for this one I would honestly have to pick The Animators by Kayla Ray Whitaker. I really enjoyed the premise of this book as well. It talks about two animators who are females in a predominantly male industry, and it talks a lot about their work. And that's what I thought going into it, that it was going to be more about their experiences being animators, but it's a little bit more into their personal lives. And so I DNF'd this, I would say, about a third of the way in. The story just got a little boring to me, but I still have hopes that because of the premise, again, I will enjoy this book, and I do want to eventually pick it up later. That's why I just can't put myself to unhaul it. So maybe I just need to pick it up again and start. So the next one is to unhaul a book you'll never actually get to. And for this one, I am saying The Wrath of the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I honestly picked this book up for one main reason, is because it sparked a lot of controversy in the booktube community when it first came out. A lot of people really enjoyed this book, and then there were slowly coming more reviews about the almost Stockholm syndrome that the female character feels for the main male character in this book. There are also, I heard that the love interest could be considered rape at times, so I really wanted to check out this book and write my own review and see what I thought about the book. But honestly, I just don't know if I ever want to get to it now, because I don't know if I'm really the kind of person that wants to read a book just because, knowing that it's going to be bad, just to get her thoughts on it. But I don't know. I think that I still do want to read this book, and I think I do want to create a video on my channel talking about love interest, because I really do have an issue where the male character in romance-centric stories is more dominant and almost very controlling, and I really want to create a video where I discuss that. So I feel like this book would be a huge part of that discussion, so that's why I haven't gotten rid of it, but I just don't know if I'll ever actually get to it. And the next one is to name a book you bought because of the hype, and for this one I'm going with Warcross by Marie Lu. And this one also has a really good premise, but I mainly bought it because a lot of people were saying how good it was, and I heard it being compared to Ready Player Go, which was one of my favorite books when I read it, for the year when I read it. So I wanted to check this one out, but honestly, I just don't know. It's not something I'm really feeling like I'll be in the mood for anytime in the near future. So I just, if I would have to be honest and get rid of a book because I bought it because of the hype, this would have been the one I'd had to choose. And then the next one is to unhaul a book you bought because of the cover. And for this one, I would have to go with Uprooted by Naomi Novak. I bought this one because I really liked the premise, but I also bought this edition in particular because the cover is stunning. But I actually have DNF'd this book, and I don't know if I have the intention of ever finishing it, but I've kept it on my collection because I really do love the cover. So that's really not a great excuse to keep a book, but that's why I'm doing it. And maybe I just need to give it another shot, finish it, the story completely, and then come back and see how I feel and whether or not I think it's worth it to keep it in my collection. The next one is to name a book you don't know anything about. And for this one, I could honestly pick any of the books in this vintage Canadian collection. I bought these again because I loved the minimalistic covers and the colored page edges, but I don't know a ton about any of these books. But for this one, I picked The Unaccustomed Earth by Jhumpa Lahiri, and I know I've heard of her before as an author, and I think I would really enjoy a lot of her work, but I just honestly don't know anything about this particular book. So those are all of the books that I would unhaul if I was being completely honest with myself, and if I didn't have these feelings of horrible guilt and FOMO, I guess, because I don't want to miss out on these stories. So as to kind of help see whether or not I should get rid of the story, should get rid of these books, or keep them, in the next couple of months I'm going to be trying to read a lot of these books and see if I really should have unhauled them or if it was a great decision to keep them. So I will keep you updated on that. But thanks again for watching. I know this video is a little bit different than what I normally do, but I'm trying to get out of just doing the classic book videos like your hauls and wrap-ups, and try to do something a little bit different. So I hope you guys enjoyed this unhaul slash discussion slash challenge video, and let me know if there's a book on your TBR that you're afraid of unhauling but think you really should unhaul. Let me know in the comments. Bye!